Hello students, welcome to the video class for the subject Power Electronics and PLC. This subject is for 5th semester Electrical and Electronics Diploma Engineering students. Today's topic is the series inverter. So already we discussed about the definition of inverter in the previous video, that inverter is a circuit which converts DC input to the AC output. Okay, so in inverter circuit we convert DC to AC. In the previous video we already studied about the single phase bridge inverter. In the bridge inverter we studied how the DC input convert into the AC output. So let's begin with the series inverter. In this series inverter we will discuss its circuit diagram, its operation, its output waveform, how here we get AC output from the DC input. Okay, so inverter in which commutating component are permanently connected in series with the load are called as series inverter. So series inverter named as series inverter with this concept that here the commutating components are permanently connected in series with the load. Okay, so the series circuit so formed must be underdamped. Underdamped means the like this, the one in case of underdamped circuit, the waveform you got like this. This is the underdamped circuit like this. Okay, so what happens here? Here the output current is starting from 0 and it reaches to a peak level value, and then it reaches to the natural current 0 position, and then it rises towards the reverse direction. Okay, so at this natural current 0 position the thyristor is commutated. Okay, so the series circuit so formed must be underdamped. So as the current attains 0 value, due to the nature of the series circuit, series inverter also classified as self commutated inverter and load commutated inverter. See here, current is rises to a peak value and then it reaches to a natural 0 and then it reverses. Due to this reverse current, here thyristor is turned off or commutated. So here the current attains 0 value. Due to the nature of the series circuit, series inverter are also classified as self commutated inverter and load commutated inverter. So these inverter operated at high frequencies. Okay, the range is from 200 Hz to 100 kHz. So the size of commutating components is small. And the applications are induction heating, fluorescent lighting. So let's go to the series inverter circuit diagram part and its operation part. So this is the basic series inverter circuit diagram. Here it is the DC supply Vs is connected across this thyristor. Here two thyristors are used, one thyristor T1, another thyristor T2, and here the load is R load. This is, and with this R load commutating component, it is L and it is C. So with this R load, the commutating components are connected in series permanently. So this is the series diagram, circuit diagram, and here T1 and T2 thyristors are on and operated alternatively. Okay, already I told you, see here T1 and T2 are connected in series with the source. So if we turn on these two thyristors at the same time, then this path will be short circuited. Okay, so we should not turn on these two thyristors simultaneously. So at a particular time T1 will turn on, at that time T2 will be off, and when T2 is turned on, then T1 will be off. Okay, so it consists of three mode of operation. Okay, before going to its different mode of operation, so what are the predefined things are here? See, Here it is a thyristor T1, voltage across the thyristor is T1. This is the thyristor T2, voltage across thyristor T2, and here the commutating components L and C is there. Voltage across L is VL, and this is C, capacitor. So the capacitor, initially the capacitor upper plate is negative and lower plate is positive, and voltage across capacitor here VC is equal to minus VCO. This is a predefined thing. So upper plate is negative and lower plate is positive in the capacitor, and the voltage across the capacitor is assumed as minus VCO. This is the predefined value of the VC. Okay, and the output voltage here V0, which is across the R load. Okay, so initially T2 is off, and first we will give gate pulse to thyristor T1. It is the graph of the IG1 gate pulse for thyristor T1. This is the gate pulse given here. Initially thyristor T2 is off and T1 is gated from the beginning. So once T1 is turned on, current will flow in this path. This is the current flowing path. This is the path. So once current will flow through this path, then EMF will induce across this inductor, and this voltage across the capacitor is also improved. That means this capacitor, this capacitor, now in mode 1 it is charged. Okay, so it is charged up to what? Up to the point when the upper plate is positive and the lower plate is negative, because initially upper plate is negative and lower plate is negative initially, and lower plate is positive. So during the mode 1, this capacitor is charged till the point when the upper plate is positive and lower plate is negative. Okay, so this is the condition for capacitor voltage. So see, when in the mode 1, when we apply the KVL equation in this path, this is the equation: IR plus L di by dt plus 1 by C integration I dt is equal to Vs plus VCO, and the voltage across the inductor VL is equal to L di by dt is equal to Vs plus VCO. So when initially this capacitor plate, upper plate is negative, lower plate is positive, that's why this T1 is this T1 is the in forward biased. But when after the ending of the mode 1, while this current will flowing through this path, the configuration of this current is like this. See, due to the presence of the commutating element, the output current will start from 0. It will reach to a peak level value, and then it reduces to 0. Okay, so at this A point, capacitor polarity is reversed. So when the capacitor upper plate is negative, the thyristor T1 is commutated. Due to this, reverse voltage applied across the thyristor. So now when mode 2 is achieved, T1 T2 off, because when this capacitor voltage is reversed, then this thyristor is commutated. That's why T2 is off, but that's why T1 is off and T2 already in off condition, off position, and the voltage charged across VC is the VC1. And here, due to the in mode 2, no thyristor is turned on, that's why I is also 0 and VL is also 0, no current flowing. Okay, and then mode 2 achieved. And what happens in mode 2? In mode 2, see the waveform. This is the mode 2, this is the mode 1, this is mode 2. In this mode 2, This is the your T off time. This time is represented by T off. Okay, so this AB time will be lapsed to make the thyristor T1 shifting from reverse blocking mode to forward blocking mode. So now at B point thyristor T2, that means this is the mode 3. So at B point B thyristor T2 is turned on, T2 is gated. So when T2 is turned on, so here C charged and stored some energy, and L also stored some energy. That's why due to the stored charges across the L and C, now current will flow from this source. Now this L and C, the voltage stored across this inductor and capacitor act as an energy source, and now current will flow from this to like this. This is the current flowing path. This is the path. Now the current is in reverse direction in this branch. So the given assumed positive direction of output current is downward, but now the current is flowing in upward. So that's why here output current travel in the reverse direction. This is the output current waveform. This is the output current waveform. Here also, due to the presence of capacitor, current rises to the negative peak rises to the peak value in the reverse direction, and then to decays to the zero level. Okay. So at this mode, now capacitor voltage again discharges till the upper plate negative and lower plate positive. Okay, so once upper plate negative, lower plate positive, this thyristor T2 is commutated. Okay, so the KVL equation during the mode 3 is I into R plus L di by dt plus 1 by C integration I dt is equal to Vc1, and voltage across the inductor is Vs plus Vco. So see, this is the waveform. So this is the waveform. See, here waveform is like this, from this point A, then A to B, and then again B to C, and then C to D. So from O to B and then B to D, the graph is repeated in the reverse. This is in forward direction, this is in reverse direction. So this represent one time period or one cycle. So this is the T. So here T by 2 is up to this much, up to this B point. Okay, so from O to A, the time is pi by omega R, and from O to B, the time is pi by omega, and this A to B is represented by T off. Okay, so see here, TQ minimum is represented by pi by omega minus TQ minimum is the pi by omega minus pi by omega R, which is represented by 1 by 2 into 1 by F minus 1 by FR. So omega is equal to output frequency in radian per second, and omega R is the circuit ringing frequency in radian per second. So TQ minimum is the minimum time given to the thyristor, so that thyristor can shift to reverse blocking mode to forward blocking mode. This time lies in between A to B. Okay, so this time lies in this T of time. Okay, so see, these are the operations which I discussed. See, at point A, as the load current tends to reverse, SCR T1 is turned off. So after instant A, some minimum time TQ must elapse for T1 to regain its forward blocking capability. So TQ equation is represented by this, where omega is the output frequency in radian per second, omega R is the ringing frequency in radian per second. So the time interval between the instant T1 is turned off and the instant T2 is turned on is the T off, is represented by AB. So T off is always greater than TQ minimum. This T off is the dead zone time. this must be greater than the thyristor turn of time. See, during T off, the whole circuit is off. During this T off time, the whole circuit is completely off. That's why this T off is the dead zone time. Okay, so already I discussed how T1 is commutated and what happened after the T2 is turned on. Okay, so these are all the explanation. So in this way, in this manner, DC is converted to AC in series inverter. See, this is the one kind of, this is C, this is in forward direction waveform, this is in reverse direction waveform. So this part is the reverse of this part. So this is one kind of alternating waveform. Okay, so in this manner the DC is converted to AC in series inverter. So here IS is the source current flows only during the positive half cycle, during the positive cycle of the load current. Okay, because in the negative cycle of the load current, T1 will not conduct, only T2 is conducted, and T2 is when T2 is conducted, it is totally separated from the source. Okay, so one note point is there that the capacitor source stores charge during one half cycle and release the same amount of charge during the next half cycle of the output current waveform. So positive half cycle of the current is identical with the negative half cycle of the output current waveform. Okay, so this is all about the series inverter circuit and working principle. So you go through the notes and make note by your own. Okay.